now we're going to start adding colour to the face in particular. So for each colour that we add to the features or add to our portrait, we're going to add this into a new layer, and you'll see why later on. So we're going to add a new layer by pressing this little icon down in the layers palette. Okay, we're going to name it by double clicking. Call it face. Now we're going to start adding colour. So to do that, I'm going to use my brush tool. So I'm going to change the colour of my brush. I've already changed it to a yellow. I might want to change it to a bit more of an orange just for the sake of this. Okay, there's my orange. You can pull this up and down for any colour you like, and obviously click in here and you get a little preview on the right there. So let's change it to this orange. Now I'm going to start applying colour to the face. Now that's not ideal because we can't see any of the features of our face. So what we need to do is blend these two layers together. To do that, they're called blending modes. They exist over here in the layers palette. Now if you want to preview what they look like, if you've got a mouse, you can just click. And if you roll your mouse wheel, you can see how those two layers blend together based on the effect. Okay. If you haven't got a mouse, you can use your arrow keys by pressing the down key. What I find works best for this particular task is multiply or overlay. So I'm just going to set this layer to multiply. Now you can see we can just start painting. Now if I was to zoom in, if I hold down Alt and roll my mouse wheel, I can zoom in. I could come around here and start clicking, but that's quite tedious. So what I'm going to do is use a mixture of my selection tools in order to help me paint. So let me zoom out here. So I'm going to use my magic wand to select the face so I can start painting the face. So here's my magic wand. Now if I was to click right now, it's selecting the paint which I've started painting on. Now we don't want to do that. We want to be able to select the face, which is in the photo, which is in this layer here. So you need to make sure you've got the right layer selected depending on what you want to do. Select this layer. Okay, so now you can change your tolerance, make it more fussy or less fussy. I'm just going to leave it at 32 and just see what happens. So I'm going to hold down Shift to make multiple selections. You can see already I'm going to be able to paint a lovely crisp line around the ear and around the neck. I'll just keep selecting. It's really important just to get the outlines so we can have nice, clean, defined edges. So I'm just going to make a few more selections in here. Okay. Now the handy thing with multiply and overlay is you can paint over black and be as messy as you want. It's only when it starts turning grey where you'll be able to see your messy work. And it's important that we get up here in the hair because we don't want our hair to be orange, we want our hair to be a different colour. So I'm just going to move up into the hair. Okay, you could zoom in if you want to get a little bit more detail and see what you're doing. Okay, again you can hold down Alt and move your mouse wheel in and out to zoom in. Okay, I've got all my edges, that's looking pretty good. So now I'm going to get my painting tool. Now the biggest and common mistake that students make right now is by painting onto our photo. Now we don't want to paint onto our photo, we want to use our selection to paint on our face layer where we've added colour. So now that I've got that lovely selection, you can see that it's only letting me paint inside this selection, which is exactly what I want. Now don't worry about the eyes and those bits, we're just worried about the outlines of where the features or the section we're painting, it meets other places. Okay. So that's really helping me, which is good. Okay. And down here. So in order to deselect, to get rid of that selection, I'm going to press Ctrl D. Okay, I've got some lines up there, which is great. So I'm just going to roughly paint in the rest. You can see that it doesn't show over the black, which is ideal. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in to fix up some of this work that's around here. Okay, and I'm literally just painting on where I need it. Now little areas like this, yes, we're going to change the size of the brush. So I'm just going to change the size down so I can get in and fix these areas up here. Now as we're painting on pixels, we can actually rub out where we go too far. So just paint over here. Don't worry about those eyes, we'll come back and do them later. Okay, that's looking okay. Okay, and we can paint all these in. But using that selection tool there just allowed us to get some of those clean edges really easy. So I selected off my photo layer. Otherwise, you're going to get some really messy work. You can see zooming in really helps me out. So where I've been a little bit messy and a bit careless, I can use my eraser tool, which exists also around the painting tools. Use my eraser, and just like any painting tool, you can change the size and the hardness of the brush up in the properties bar. So let's just see how big this rubber is to see. It's a little bit big, turn it down. Okay. And rub out where I've made my mistakes. Okay, so it's just rubbing away the pixels on that layer. Alright, so with the eyes, look, you could use the magic wand. So I could go to my face layer, or my photo layer, sorry, and select the eyes, shift. It's being a bit too fussy, let me turn that down to 20. We need it to be fussier. Okay, that's not helping me there, so you know what I'll do is just use my eraser tool, change the brush size, go to my face layer because we want to rub away the orange pixels, and change my brush according to get into those little gaps. Okay, because that's just rubbing away that layer. So let me quickly do that on the other side. Now if I go too far the other way, just get your brush and move it back. So that's looking good for the purpose of this demonstration.